thousands of years, human beings have looked up at the night sky and asked the same haunting question. Are we alone? Today, that question has moved far beyond campfire conversations and science fiction novels. Governments are declassifying files, military pilots are reporting encounters they cannot explain, and millions of people around the world are becoming increasingly convinced that something is out there. But what if the answer to this ancient question was already written down centuries ago? What if the most widely read book in human history already addressed the existence of beings from beyond our world? The Bible is not a science textbook, but it is a document filled with encounters between human beings and extraordinary entities, beings of immense power, intelligence, and mystery. When you read those accounts through a modern lens, something remarkable begins to emerge. The descriptions of these beings, their behaviors, their agendas, and their methods align in startling ways with what people today describe as extraterrestrial encounters. This is not about dismissing the experiences of those who claim to have seen unidentified aerial phenomena. This is about taking those experiences seriously enough to ask a deeper question. What if the beings behind these encounters are not from another planet, but from another dimension entirely? What if they are the same entities the Bible has been warning humanity about for millennia? The Bible is filled with references to non-human intelligent beings. Angels appear throughout both the Old and New Testaments, described as powerful messengers and warriors capable of extraordinary feats. They appear and disappear. They travel at incomprehensible speeds. They interact with the physical world in ways that defy natural explanation. But angels are not the only category of supernatural being the Bible describes. There are cherubim, seraphim, the living creatures described in the book of Ezekiel, and the mysterious sons of God mentioned in Genesis chapter 6. These are not simple metaphors. The biblical writers treated these beings as literal, real entities with agency, intelligence, and purpose. Then, there are the fallen ones. The Bible makes clear that a significant portion of these supernatural beings rebelled against their Creator. Revelation chapter 12 describes a war in heaven, where a third of the angelic host was cast down to the earth. These fallen beings did not simply disappear. They remained active, intelligent, and deeply interested in the affairs of humanity. The Apostle Paul, writing in Ephesians chapter 6, describes the spiritual realm as populated by principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, and spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places. The word translated as heavenly places here is the Greek word epuranios, which refers to the atmospheric and cosmic realm, the sky and beyond. These beings, according to Paul, operate in the very domain where modern, unidentified aerial phenomena are being observed. Perhaps the most controversial passage in the entire Bible when it comes to this topic is Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. The text describes the sons of God seeing the daughters of men, finding them attractive and taking them as wives. The offspring of these unions were called the Nephilim, described as giants, mighty men, men of renown. The Hebrew phrase translated as sons of God, Bene Elohim, is used elsewhere in the Old Testament exclusively to refer to angelic beings. The book of Job uses the same phrase to describe the heavenly court that gathers before God. This was not a metaphor for godly men marrying ungodly women, as some later interpreters suggested. This was a literal account of supernatural beings crossing a boundary they were never meant to cross, interacting with humanity in a deeply physical and corrupting way. The ancient Jewish texts outside the canonical Bible, such as the Book of Enoch, elaborate on this event extensively. The Book of Enoch was highly regarded by early Jewish and Christian communities, and is even quoted directly in the New Testament book of Jude. It describes these fallen watchers descending to earth, teaching forbidden knowledge to humanity, and producing a corrupted hybrid race. The parallels to modern alien abduction narratives are difficult to ignore. People who report abduction experiences frequently describe beings that are intensely interested in human biology, reproduction, and genetics. They describe procedures that feel invasive and violating. They describe beings that seem to be conducting some kind of experiment on the human species. The ancient account and the modern experience are separated by thousands of years, but the pattern is remarkably consistent. One of the most compelling arguments for the demonic interpretation of alien encounters comes from comparing the behavioral patterns of demons as described in the Bible with the behavioral patterns reported in alien contact experiences. In the New Testament, demons are described as beings that seek to deceive, manipulate, and ultimately destroy human beings. They are masters of illusion. They can mimic, impersonate, and create false experiences. Jesus himself describes Satan as the father of lies in John chapter 8. Now consider the consistent testimony of researchers who have studied alien contact experiences from a psychological and spiritual perspective. Dr. John Mack, a Harvard psychiatrist who spent years studying abductees, noted that the experiences had a deeply transformative effect on people, but not always in a positive direction. Many abductees reported spiritual confusion, broken relationships, and a destabilized sense of reality. Researcher Jacques Vallée, one of the most respected figures in unidentified aerial phenomena studies, concluded after decades of investigation that the phenomenon behaves less like a physical extraterrestrial visitation and more like a control system, something designed to manipulate human consciousness and belief. Vallée himself compared the phenomenon to what ancient cultures described as encounters with demons, fairies, and other supernatural tricksters. The entities in these encounters frequently give contradictory information. They make predictions that do not come true. They claim to be from different places at different times. They seem less interested in scientific exchange and more interested in psychological and spiritual influence. This is precisely how the Bible describes the operation of deceptive spiritual forces. The Bible contains extensive warnings about a great deception that will occur in the last days. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 describes the coming of a lawless one whose arrival is accompanied by false signs and wonders with all kinds of deception for those who are perishing. Matthew chapter 24 records Jesus warning his disciples that false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. The book of Revelation describes demonic spirits performing miraculous signs that deceive the kings of the earth. Now consider the current trajectory of the unidentified aerial phenomena conversation in the public sphere. There is a growing movement, both within popular culture and within certain academic and governmental circles, that is preparing humanity to accept the existence of extraterrestrial beings. Some researchers, and even some former government officials, have suggested that these beings may have been involved in the origin of human life, or that they represent a higher form of intelligence that humanity should look to for guidance. If fallen supernatural beings are real, and if they are capable of staging elaborate physical and psychological experiences, then the stage is being set for exactly the kind of deception the Bible warned about. A civilization that has been primed to believe in benevolent aliens from another star system would be far more vulnerable to accepting the guidance of beings who present themselves as advanced and enlightened, but whose actual agenda is something far darker. None of this means that every unidentified aerial phenomena sighting is demonic, or that every person who has had an unusual experience is under spiritual attack. The world is a complex place, and there are genuine mysteries that deserve serious investigation. But the biblical framework offers something that purely materialistic explanations cannot. A coherent account of why these beings would be interested in humanity, what their ultimate goals might be, and how human beings can protect themselves from deception. The Bible consistently points to discernment as the essential tool for navigating a world filled with spiritual deception. First, John chapter 4 instructs believers to test the spirits, because not every spirit is from God. The criteria for that testing are rooted in the person and nature of Jesus Christ. Interestingly, researchers who study alien contact experiences have noted that invoking the name of Jesus Christ has, in numerous documented cases, cause the experience to stop immediately. This is not a small detail. It is a data point that fits perfectly within the biblical framework and sits uncomfortably within any purely extraterrestrial explanation. The question of what is behind the unidentified aerial phenomenon may be one of the most important questions of our generation. The Bible does not use the word alien, but it describes a universe populated by powerful, intelligent, non-human beings, some of whom are deeply hostile to humanity and deeply committed to deception. That ancient warning has never been more relevant than it is right now.